Hi and welcome back to my channel. Today is going to be a video about how to care for your peace lily and how to grow them in soil and water. So this is my peace lily and there's nothing wrong with it. It's just very dramatic and it's been in a terracotta pot. Terrible idea for a peace lily because they need a lot of water. And the terracotta pots will absorb that water. So I already knew I was going to have to remove it and repot it, so I thought this was going to be the perfect opportunity to split some of it as best as I can and then place some of it in water and then the rest in soil. So with the yellow leaves on here, I will be taking those off. And then this does look quite awful, me trying to pull this apart. It was a lot tougher than I thought it was going to be with the root system. And I was trying really hard not to break it or damage any of the leaves, because whenever you're wanting to put this in water, it needs to have all of the roots, not just the stems. It's not going to work. So kind of like when you take a cutting and then you put it in water and hope that it will grow. This one won't. This one needs some of the roots. So I was trying to half it, but that wasn't happening. So with gardening and taking care of houseplants, it's always, somebody that has like a really good garden, it's because they've failed and they know how to fix it and do better the next time. And that's the same thing that I do. Sometimes you make mistakes and sometimes you do great. So these are the pieces that I'm going to be using for the water. And I will be getting off most of that dirt. And some of that came off. And that's okay. And it does look very droopy right now, because normally peace lily leaves will stand up. And then here's the rest that I'm going to be putting in dirt. And I'm wanting to compare the two to see which one does better. And then when you're putting this in water, you're going to want to pull off all the extra leaves that are really tiny, because you don't want those in the water. You just want a little bit of the stem and the roots. I think next time I'm just going to get, if this one does well, I want to get another peace lily about this size and just grow it in just water. And again, this is the mixture that I make, the peat moss, vermiculite, and perlite. And this is a plastic pot with drainage holes. That's very important for any plant. I know some people will put the rocks at the bottom, but that's never worked for me. I always end up with, root rot. So again, it's always trial and error, and some things that you see on social media, when they put the rocks on the bottom, they think that's a good idea. And it's normally not. That's why I will not buy pots without drainage holes. And it does look awfully droopy right now, and that's okay. It will get better. It always gets better for me like the next day, not in like 20 minutes. And I'm just trying to support it as best as I can until it stands upright. And then making sure all the roots are covered up. And then I'm making sure most of the leaves are out of the dirt, so that way they're not going to rot down in there. It does look awful right now, but it will look better. Yeah, very, very dramatic plants. And these plants are gonna want, some people grow them with barely any sunlight. I grow them in part sun area, so they're getting to look out the window without the sun looking at it. And then I water these once a week. And whenever you water a peace lily, you're going to want to not get the leaves wet. And then with any plant, you don't want to get the leaves wet. And then I use water that's been out on the counter for at least 24 hours so it gets all that chlorine out. Or you can use bottled water or filtered water. But this is just how I do it because peace lilies don't like all that chlorine and they don't like all the fertilizers and everything else. So that's why they just want, you know, filtered water and just soil. So this water again is dechlorinated, and make sure the leaves are not in the water because they're gonna rot off. It does look terrible. It will look better tomorrow. So this is the peace lily that I planted inside the plastic pot, and it's standing up just like I knew it would, and it's doing great. And then when the flowers turn brown, I just cut those right off. And then I have the peace lily that I put in the water in the vase upstairs. Again, you don't want any of the leaves in the water, just the stem and the roots. And that's the end of today's video. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe.